Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get you informed fast. Today, we're kind of putting on our detective hats. We're looking into Mahindra's new BE6 electric vehicle. You know, India's EV market is really taking off, lots of national pride there. And Mahindra is positioning this BE6 as a real challenger. They're talking about it alongside giants like Tesla, BYD, and really pushing this Indian origin angle.
Right, and that's where it gets interesting, isn't it? Because, well, Mahindra's design work, their integration effort, that's definitely significant, no doubt. But in modern car manufacturing, indigenous, it often really points more to the design, the final assembly,
Right.
not necessarily every single high-value part inside. So our mission today is really to unpack that. Look at the tension between the, let's say, national branding and the reality of these, well, global supply chains. We'll do that by looking at the actual bits and pieces of the BE6.
Okay, let's start with the battery then. That's always a big one for EVs. Mahindra makes a point of saying they assemble and test the battery packs in Chennai. And the testing sounds pretty intense. I mean, they're talking about water immersion tests way beyond the usual rules, like 48 hours submerged under pressure that's massively higher than standard.
What?
Shows a real focus on making it tough. But what about the actual core of the battery, the cells? Where do they come from?
Yeah, that assembly and testing in Chennai is impressive. It builds local skill, absolutely. But the fundamental cells, the Blade LFP cells, lithium iron phosphate, known for being safe and compact, those are actually sourced from BYD.
Ah, BYD in China.
Exactly. So India is localizing the integration, the validation part, which is crucial expertise to build up, but not yet the core cell manufacturing itself or, holding that fundamental IP. And apparently there have been some reported delays with a potential Volkswagen deal for future parts too, which kind of highlights this continued reliance.
Okay, that's the battery. Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. What about the electric motor? The heart of the EV.
Mm-hmm. The motor, the thing that gives the BE6 its performance,
Yeah.
that's supplied by Valeo.
Valeo. They're French, right?
That's right, from France. And this points to, well, let's call it a technology and maybe manufacturing gap right now in India for these really high-performance EV powertrains. So when Mahindra talks about that quick 0 to 100 time, like 6.7 seconds,
Yeah, pretty quick.
that performance relies on getting that specialized component from a global expert. It's not quite homegrown in that specific core area yet.
And the brain of the car, the vehicle control unit, all the software stuff, that's increasingly complex these days.
Oh, absolutely. That's where so much of the car's character comes from now. The VCU itself, managing the power, how the car behaves, and the integrated onboard charger module, those are from Bosch.
Bosch, okay. German company.
German, yes, but the parts are imported from Germany and Hungary. And then you've got the MAA system. That's Mahindra's artificial intelligence architecture.
Their smart OS, right?
Exactly. That runs on a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip.
From the U.S.
Yep. And the infotainment software comes from Cinemo in Germany, over-the-air updates, keeping the software current. That relies on Cbros, based in the U.S. Even the display screens are from Aptiv, an Irish company. So it's a truly international effort making this brain work.
Wow. It really paints a picture, doesn't it? It's just a web of global suppliers.
Right.
So if we pull all these threads together, what does this really say about India's bigger EV ambitions and this whole Indian origin idea?
It does paint a picture, yeah. And it highlights Mahindra's role, which is really as a sophisticated integrator. They're taking best-in-class components from around the world and assembling them effectively. But it also shows the broader challenges for India's EV ecosystem. There's still a massive dependency, like over 85% on imports for things like battery cells, rare earth materials. Often, Indian suppliers just aren't at the scale or, frankly, the required quality level yet for some of these really high-tech parts. It's quite a contrast when you look at, say, Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory hitting 95% localization, or BYD's vertical integration making their own batteries, semiconductors.
Right. So this deep dive really shows it clearly. The Mahindra BE6 is definitely made in India when it comes to final assembly, the design vision.
Yeah.
But the technology, the fundamental building blocks, they're sourced from all over the globe. It kind of redefines what made in India can mean for high-tech goods today.
Exactly. It's a strategic choice, probably a very pragmatic one, given where India's EV supply chain is right now. And it leaves us with a question, doesn't it? For you, the listener. In this world of super complex, globalized supply chains, what does indigenous or homegrown truly mean when we're talking about cutting-edge tech? And how might thinking about that shape the real path towards greater self-reliance in the future? Something to think about.